Hey folks, how you all doing? This is Con Over coming to you with some more Company of Heroes 2. Today's 1v1 starts off between the blue-trunked OKW forces of Frost facing off against the UKF over here, forces of Pappy O'Daniel. Now, Frost we've seen, and on the map Chladni Ferma, or the Cold One, it might seem that he has a leg up on this particular status, but you know what? Pappy O'Daniel is ready to thaw his frozen heart, so we'll see how well that goes. Commander-wise, Frost is bringing to the fray Overwatch Doctrine, Fortifications Doctrine, and of course Special Operations Doctrine. He is neglecting to go for that common Volks, Sturm, and Kubel build, initially preferring to go for a second Volks to kind of get himself some more infantry onto the field. Now, Pappy, like I've said already, is going to play the UKF, so jolly old England is over here, as well as all the Australians, I was going to say Austrians, but Australians and things of that ilk. And he is bringing along Mobile Assault Regiment, Vanguard Operations Regiment, and Royal Engineer Regiment. Three commanders that you see a fair bit of, especially Mobile Assault and Vanguard Ops. Royal Engineer only a teensy bit less, but Pappy is tending to build that way a lot lately. Excuse me, I have actually been recording a fair bit today, so my voice is going to be a little bit in and out, so please bear with me on those one, folks. Now, Frost is going to do the standard kind of, we're going to wall off this territory right here. And he's not going to quite get the most effective wiring. So if the infantry from Pappy does decide to go up, they can hunker behind this P4. You can see right there. It's actually perfect for them. But it doesn't seem that's high on their to-do list for the moment. Pappy instead preferring to put a lot of emphasis on getting that fuel in play. And my guess is we'll see a very, very quick tech to platoon command post after this Vickers. Frost in the meantime continues to spam out Volksgrens. And 2 minutes and 10 seconds in, it looks like he's going to have himself a little bit of a Volk sandwich. It's an Oreo with all the German Volks in the middle. Frost doesn't seem to be too concerned about it though. Anyway, he just dives back into a house and lets the infantry sections move up to the north. Still, there's no German fuel on this map, which makes me kind of wonder if Frost is really going to tech up aggressively or what the deal is necessarily. We will see, finally, an attempt made to pick up this fuel. But the infantry section will do pretty well at kind of engaging these forces in the meantime, putting down a pretty good curtain of fire. Sturmpires, we're kind of moving forwards, then decide to not really be too intentional about getting behind this cover. At long last, they managed to do so, but not before taking 50% casualties, and these Volks are laying down a curtain of fire, and see, can they actually effectively move these guys back? Yes, they can. There go the infantry section, and the Sturmpios might be just able, barely, my friends, to kind of eke out an existence up here in the north. Of course, with one infantry section retreating, it allows this other one to have its flank rolled up rather easily. Of course, by the same token, we are going to see this Vickers coming out and putting some fair firepower on this Volksgrenadier squad behind this truck. But unless he's a little bit unlucky, the Germans shouldn't be too concerned about this. Indeed, you even see the infantry section forced away. And Frost's Volksgrenadiers compelling a very, very rapid retreat across the entire map in terms of UKF forces. As expected, the platoon command post is now up, which means we're going to see some Royal Engineers coming in, and Frost going for a very, very late SWS. Of course, not really taking his fuel until about 45 seconds ago might be definitely inspiring a bit of that. Question is he going to go from Battle Group Headquarters, or will he go for that Mechanized Regiment? He's going to have the fuel for the Mechanized Regiment, but I don't know if that's really going to be the best option. What I will know is that these Volksgrens are not going to want to be out here in the open, as these Stens will do a fair number on them, and these Royal Engineers are not that good at troops. Germans, in the meantime, have disconnected this fuel from the Brits. A good move right there. And this truck is moving a little bit further forward. Is this going to be that battle group? No, it's going to be a mech regiment. So Frost is not too concerned about the health of his infantry, it seems. And that is definitely apparent as these Volksgrens just start to get chewed up here. Vickers coming down with two infantry sections already leading the way. And while the infantry section nearest the Volks drops a model, we're going to see those poor Germans forced into a rapid retreat. Also kind of curious why, and this is a common thing, I kind of wonder why we don't have the infantry moving closer to kind of compel the Royal Engineers to either stick it out and really, how do I put this delicately, kind of pay the price in blood. Or, well, really, that's why I'm kind of curious why he doesn't do that a lot more. Frost could definitely have prevented this from going into British hands, but it's going to be Brit now. Neither player really taking up into anything further, and of course it's a little bit soon just yet, although there could be a very swift command post, should Pappy wish it. But hey, you know, I guess 115 fuel, yeah, I got a little bit longer just yet. UKF is not my first choice, guys, so please forgive me if the fuel requirements always escape me a tiny bit. In the meantime, Sturmpayos are tossing out some mines to the north, and the Brits are not wasting any time of their own, kind of just hunkering down, taking the middle VP. And curiously, these Volksgrenadiers are outside the house. That's because I think they didn't have enough models to really take advantage of... Oh, that's why. Never mind. There's a reinforced steel barricade in the way there. But that's neither here nor there. Sturmpires are going to come under firepower from this Vickers. And again, here comes another opportunity here for this Vickers and infantry section to put some hurt on the Frost. And might be able to take out a model at best. But, you know, that received accuracy on retreat... There goes one, actually. The received accuracy on retreat is amazing if you're trying to get away. Frost, in the meantime, is going to invest all of his fuel into a Puma, which is kind of ironic because Pappy's going for an AEC. So with the AEC coming on the field, the question really is going to be, will it be the Puma or the AEC? And I might have to give a slight edge, and this is a super slight edge to the Puma. I'm sure somebody out there could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Puma has a tad bit more health. And frankly, that gun is a very, very hefty big boom. Speaking of big booms, the infantry section to the north ran over top of that Sturmpile mine and has taken 50% casualties, as totally expected from all things mines. Meantime, these hunkered down Volks are doing pretty well, just kind of creating a fire base, putting some more damage into this infantry section as they retreat, but not doing so much against these Royal Engineers. And this is, again, one of those opportunities I feel like Frost should not be losing the opportunity to rushing in and preventing these caps. Oh, but he doesn't get there quite in time. But I think he's definitely missing out on an opportunity there, but oh well. Puma's on the field, as is the AEC, and the question, where is the AEC? He is down here in the south by the fuel point. Going to try to pick on Volksgrenadiers quite a bit, but the Volks are more than able to toss down a Panzerfaust. And really probably should be doing that. Nope, instead they're going to drop a model early on, take some firepower from the AEC, and they're going to probably just back off here, maybe? Be a good idea, but no, they're not going to. Instead, he's going to stick it out. That is one thing you have to give Frost. He may not always be the most aware player. He definitely makes his share of mistakes, but he's very, very tenacious in how he approaches the game. Puma just looking to kind of create some overwatch over top of these Volksgrenadiers here. And somehow, some way, he's going to pull it off. Infantry section does not press the issue, instead of falling back a little bit behind the crates, maybe to put some damage on the Volks if they push forwards, but neither guy is willing to bat an eyelash on that one. AEC is going to put firepower into these Volks, and instead we're going to see the Puma get in the first round in, and without any other support, the AEC really should back away. He's getting pretty lucky right now. The Puma is not able... Oh, never mind, guys. I didn't even see the Piats going onto this Royal Engineer squad. So we could see some solid hits, and we do see at least one going out there. The Puma manages to go and take out the sandbags that were so lovingly constructed by its own Volksgrenadiers. Unfortunately, it's not going to do anything much in cover for them. And the Puma very, very quickly is going to come up and say, who cares about those Piats? I'm going to take out that AEC, and alphabet soup over here for the UKF becomes a trail of tears. So a lot of metaphors being mixed there as well, so bear with me on that. Frost, in the meantime, is going to call another SWS, which means he's probably going to be bringing in that battle group headquarters, which is a good opportunity for him to start healing his troops back up. And yeah, that's going to be the case. Right on top of that headquarters building And there was a squad of Volksgrenadiers that went down there and brave, if a little bit foolish, death. Vickers is still inside this church, and they're going to keep rotating back and forth and put a number on these Sturmpiles until they back away. Puma's going to try to put firepower into them as well, but with 8 guys in here, every single round won't do as much as he wants to the machine gun anyway. Pappy O'Daniel realizing, of course, he can't really afford safely another AEC. Is going to go for a 6-pounder anti-tank gun, and that, along with the Piats, should be enough to keep that Puma at arm's length. Also going to be helpful to see, at least for the Germans, that a very, very quick tech up to medics going to be very delayed. What's the term I'm looking for here? Ooh, shoot. Oh, Schumann. A very delayed Tier 4 building, so the Schwerpanzer headquarters is not going to happen too soon. Be very, very unlucky, though, for the Puma if he throws around into this, and he's not going to, but no, the squad just barely misses it, and he doesn't quite take him out either. And indeed, that 6-pounder is going to throw around into the Puma. He's going to crank off another round, and just barely, barely miss it, so the Puma's going to limp away with just a shred of life left. In the south, this munitions point is clearly in the British hands, as is this VP. Surprised we're not seeing more mines going down. Pappy could definitely afford to do so, and doesn't need to be too concerned with that late game armor. Now, Puma, again, Pappy's going to go for Mobile Assault Regiment, which means we probably could see those infiltration commandos hopping out to do a number on things like this MG34 if it ever gets out of this house. Or even jumping out right here, throwing a light cannon bomb in and wiping out that house. I don't know, definitely a possibility. Pappy, in the meantime, is also going to throw out a couple more hazard removal kits. And do these guys have Piats? No, they do not. Just Stens for them. They are going to find that Schumann to the north and going to have that get taken out pretty quickly here. Frost, in the meantime, is going to go for Overwatch Doctrine, which I'm really, really hoping we get to see a Goliath or two. Those things are expensive, but at the same time, it could be so much fun. And as such, when this gets capped out, things like that early warning will... they're not going off. How strange. I actually don't know about the interaction between hazard removal kits and early warning devices. So I guess the flare does not actually trigger if they are found, quote-unquote, by hazard removal. Oh, never mind. There they go. So there's a flare right there covering that entire area, and these guys are not going to want to be there for too much longer. The repaired Puma is moving in, and he could definitely go and crush a good deal of that cover. No, he's not going to. Instead, he's going to ignore it. Put fire onto the northern infantry section. Southern one will be compelled to retreat as well. Bren Gun's not doing enough to keep those infantry in play. 6-pounder's going to throw a round out, but not going to do a whole lot. And in the meantime, we will see it's going to be a 3-inch mortar pit behind this garrison right here. Probably the only other thing that could happen effectively, and oh my gosh, these poor Royal Engineers are stuck. So that thing is flush up against that building. How are we doing for tickets, though? So 460 to 322. Germans had themselves a trip cap, which the Brits really need to get a hold of. Ah, so that's why. So the MG34 is getting shifted out by things like that mortar pit. So this is literally the only reason the mortar pit exists, is to put fire onto this house. In the meantime, infantry are trying to effectively take the middle part of the map again, but not really much is going to go on. 6-pounder is going to find a line of fire onto the Puma, which is good for the Brits and bad for the Puma. And the Schwerpanzer headquarters is going to go out for Frost up here in the north, covering a good deal of this fuel point, as well as controlling that kind of crossroads to the north. Company command post in the meantime is going out as well for Pappy O'Daniel. So is he going to tech up into Hammer or Anvil? My guess is Hammer is probably going to be a better opportunity for him. The Comet is a much better option, I think, than going for the Churchill. But hey, you know, that's just me. Booby trap has been triggered. I didn't see what booby trap that was. Another, just more flares? Yes, just more flares. But this push is going to see the middle VP going back in favor of the British. And yes, we're going to see a Goliath, folks. These things are super, super delicate. But if he sneaks in, he could put a Goliath into the church, take that out. I really just, you know what? When the Goliath comes out, we're just going to have that get followed here. I think it's adorable. Super, super adorable. And for 100 munitions, you can definitely afford it. Now the question is, can you get it close enough? It's a very, very big question. It's tiny, but it could definitely be seen, and these guys are going to start firing at it already, so never mind, this one's going to die. But you can see the potential of the little spunky machine. Germans in the south, we're decapping this fuel no longer. Getting pushed back by this Bren gun, and they really need to book it out of there before they lose the entire squad. Luckily for them, they decide to do so finally. Royal Engineers, both squads, are they both admitting they have hazard removal kits and Piats? I don't know. What we can say is that this mine down here to the south has been found, and these Volksgrenadiers will do a good bit of damage to the Royal Engineers if they're not too careful. There they go. Will we see a dead squad here? I don't know. No, we're not going to. Not on either side. But we're seeing another Goliath coming out here, and I really, really just want to see one of these things go off effectively. It'd be too much fun for me. 6-pounder is kind of chilling over here, and folks, there is an M6 mine covering the entryway into the churchyard, so I don't know if he's planning to worry about this Goliath or what the deal is. But 17 in, and the Puma is going to find itself getting hammered if he's not careful. Okay, here it comes. He sneaks through. He's getting close. And oh my gosh, the Royal Engineers are going to go to the building. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Goliath getting in nice and close. Never mind, he's going for this machine gun. Gets it! And a meat bouillabaisse falls around what used to be a British infantry squad. Alright, my life is complete. The church has been taken down, and a Goliath has actually been able to see the light of day. So I'm pretty happy here. Booby trap has been triggered again in the south, so more flares being put out here, and I'm waiting for this Puma to just run over a mine. Instead, he's going to back away, damaged heavily, but not taken out. Broken, but not unbowed. But not bowed? Unbroken and unbowed? I don't know. There is definitely a phrase that goes around that one. I'm sure somebody out there could help me with it. Brens are going to go try to push up to the north here, but instead run afoul of this Volks squad. And the Volks are trying to get some sort of weird kind of potential push around of running into these Royal Engineers. These are guys with Piats? No. Just Stens for them. And that's not going to be enough to shift these Volksgrens without a little bit more help. But in the meantime, this mortar pit's going to start firing up to the north. And this guy's got 2 kills, not a whole lot. And this Cromwell's going to announce himself as well. So that's pretty unlucky for the Germans. As is this insane crush that comes out from everything that has an allied appellation to it. Puma comes in to get an opportunistic shot. Backs away before it can get taken out, though, luckily. And what is this? Okay, so Stuka assault. Sector assault, excuse me. Oh my gosh, that early warning flare is just so cool to watch. Oh my gosh, no, okay, down in the south, we're going to see Volksgrenadier squad almost get taken out completely, but managing to at least decap the point away from the Brits. The Germans are going to do their best to take back this own VP to the south, and no one seems to be taking any pressure on them, so it looks like they'll be able to at least decap and probably recap it for the good of the fatherland. Ober's coming out as well. Kind of wondering if Frost is going to go for P4, or he's just going to wait to do something like that late game KT. A late game KT, especially on this map, is a very powerful option. Not in the least because of the limited kind of tank avenues, but also because this map is shockingly rather constricted between the shot blockers as well as the high number of buildings which can be destroyed. The KT's power effectiveness gets ramped up by quite a bit. at least in my humble opinion. More than willing to hear counter ideas from anybody else out there. Piats in the meantime are going to be fired at these Volksgrens from about 3 feet, but it's not going to do any damage to them whatsoever.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to
Puma as well going to find out that there is another tank in the area, but he's not going to be chasing him out. Instead, it's just going to be the Brits retaking the southern VP as the Germans take the north. I'm kind of wondering, what are the Germans doing to really be more proactive here? Well, they are going to have an Obersoldaten that's going to do quite a bit of damage to these Royal Engineers, especially from that distance. And when they are carrying a hazard removal kit and Piats, oh my gosh, you know, the only thing that was going to save them was the attack of that Cromwell right there. But safely do the Obers get away? Never mind, no they don't, they go down, and that is just a big loss right there. The LMG investment is pretty big. It's a hefty one.
new land mattress ready
Jeez,
to go.
mortars firing off all over the place. A land mattress being called in now, so anything for the Germans is going to have to be moving constantly. And Cromwell's going to be entertained a little bit by this Puma. The Puma getting off a good shot. Now, in terms of just veterancy all over the place, the Germans are slowly gaining it, but it's at crazy, crazy prices. They lost a squad or two, but yet are not completely out of it, and this machine gun is going to barely get out as well. Luckily for him, these infiltration commandos can't be called in quite that rapidly. Unfortunately for him, though, the Puma will find himself getting hammered by the 6-pounder. A very, very excellent position that doesn't really recognize this tree as a shot blocker, more or less. Oh my gosh, this Rakettenwerfer is going to get rounds in onto the Cromwell. Another round comes out. There we go, yes. And what had been a good position for the Brits is going to decay rapidly. Mortar Pit's going to try to put rounds down on top of him.
We're losing a capture point.
But I don't think that's going to be enough. 22 in, though. The Germans still have a nice 100-ticket lead. So yeah, I think Frost is just stalling out to bring up the KT. And I think the second he brings the KT in, Pappy's going to start
Supply line's broken.
making out his will. Or doing gun options here and bringing up more things like this mine. This is a very high traffic area by anybody moving into these two areas here. Especially if he's going to try to dive to put pressure onto this mortar pit or this kind of twosome right here. It's definitely going to go across that area, and here's just proving my point right here. Here comes the Puma. He's going to come over the mine.
A capture point is being
Destroyed engine. You better back off right now. Now, he does have that awesome aim shot. So if it penetrates, it's pretty darn good. Land Mattress in the meantime is going to throw rounds down range and completely whiff on pretty much everything, it looks like. Especially with the machine gun getting out of there. Never mind, folks. He gets the machine gun. That's gone. Cromwell's going to come up, pick up the Puma. And now the Germans have to really call in that KT. They've lost a fair chunk of their army in the last couple of minutes here. Especially things that make them rather deadly. An MG-34 will definitely be something that's noticed if it's lost.
being readied.
Specialization hammer. Yep, so we are going to see a Comet coming out from Pappy O'Daniel once he has the fuel. Just doesn't quite have that yet. Sturmpyos, though, saying, you know what, I don't care how powerful you are.
The squad's
I'm better up close than you are. STGs and a Piat on them as well, so as long as the Sturmpyos don't find themselves under too much firepower, Frost should have a nice anti-tank engineer squad here. Now, the problem with that, jeez, very, very unlucky. The mortar round managed to actually take out the early warning device. And Frost can be calling in. Why is he not calling in the KT already?
new engineer section is waiting for orders.
He really needs to be doing that. How's veterancy going, by the way, for both people? So, Frost has 3 different squads that have any kind of measurable veterancy. They also have that one Sturmpyos squad who's got only 1. He's retreating back to base as we speak.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Question is, how about Pappy? Pappy's got 2 fully vetted up infantry squads. He's got the mortar pit, which gains veterancy like a mother. His 6-pounder's got a tiny bit. And there we go, there's the KT, 300 manpower, a little bit late. So now we have a vicious killing machine on the field. What does Pappy have to combat this? And the answer to that is I really don't know. For the Fatherland being popped by Frost, not an ability you see very often, and not in the least because Overwatch doesn't always get selected here. That KT already has himself a very, very swift upgrade with that machine gun, the MG42 up top. And he's announcing his presence. He fired off, what, 2-3 shots, and he's got 3 kills already. Getting tickled by the Royal Engineers. The Royal Engineers are going to back away as opposed to trying to put fire into this monster, and that's a good idea, I would say. Folks, in the meantime, trying to retake the center part of the field, and it doesn't go very well. KT's going to slide around and put pressure onto this Cromwell. Let's lower the angle a little bit. And the Germans are still barely in the lead in terms of tickets here. Brown goes into the 6-pounder, and it doesn't seem to really mollify the KT. He continues to throw rounds into it. Oh no, and here comes the Cromwell. He's going to try to put close fire into the KT. That's not going to be a great idea. Not going to be a great idea at all. Landmatch is firing off to the west. Is he looking for kills in the backfield? Yes, he is. In the meantime, though, KT is pushing forwards, and with the Piat putting pressure on the 6-pounder, oh my gosh, super close, but he needs to get away right now. Never mind, Landmatch just gets decrewed. And I believe, yep, Sturmpires go down and lose that Piat. So losses on both sides, and not inconsiderable ones either. You don't want to be losing things like squad upgrades. They're expensive, even if you cap them out from your opponent. Sturmpires, in the meantime, are going to try to repair this KT as it puts rounds into the mortar pit. Embrace, which is just about as good as the Germans can hope for right now. He's got to back away before he takes too much other firepower. Piats coming forwards. That's 4 Piats coming in. Yikes! But that's still a KT nevertheless. So a fair chunk of damage going back and forth. Rakettenwerfer in the middle part of the field gets taken out, but the Germans have managed to take back 2 points here. Slowly draining tickets away from the British for a change, which is kind of nice. Frost, in the meantime, has also capped out this land mattress. So as good as the British position had been, it has now decayed a little bit, especially in the face of losing their own kind of support weapons. Firefly is on the field, and Pappy's got more than enough opportunity to bring in tulip rockets on top of that. So the other question is, who can stay in the fray longer? Is it going to be the King Tiger, or is it going to be the Allied armor? I do suspect that in another 30 seconds we will see a rocket barrage in the middle part of the field, or perhaps even back further against things like this mortar pit. Mortar pit's got to get taken out, though, and that's a very, very important thing here. Brenns are going to do a number on the charging Volksgrenadiers. You do see these guys already getting suppressed, and it's not going to get much better for them. And now with the Vickers, yikes. Yep, okay, so Flame On going onto these infantry section troops, forcing them back at least, but you still don't want to be a German infantryman right now. And a lot of hopes and dreams are being staked on this KT, so I imagine if the KT goes down, Frost doesn't have a whole lot to fall back on. He doesn't own... Yikes. What are the rounds coming in? Okay, so he's looking to actually take out that machine gun, and it's not going to happen. Unless he gets very, very lucky about a couple more of these rockets. Nope. Nope, takes out a model, but not going to be anywhere near enough. Germans are going to get pushed in the top, but are going to get suppressed pretty... are going to suppress their attackers pretty easily, and they'll fall back in disarray. And it seems that you cannot keep a good German down, Rakettenwerfer being used to decap the center part of the field. And now the KT, which had been brand spanking new for a bit of time here, is taking a ton of firepower. Tulip rockets doing a number on them. But these Royal Engineers don't want to be in the middle part of the field again now, do they? Rakettenwerfer also now putting fire into the Sherman Firefly, which seems to be diving a little bit deeper. Ill-advised. Sturmpire squad does go down, and yep, if it was German, there we go. We have taken more losses here. Rakettenwerfer going down. And that is a big, big loss for Frost. Now he's really only got 2 squads of actual infantry on the field. The Brits have 3, arguably 4.5, and be actually you could even go as far up to say 5. And of those, 4 of them are full veterancy. And of those, 2 of them have anti-tank weapons. And of those, 1 of them is actually full strength, if a little bit wounded. So I don't know if Frost can get himself back into this. He really needs to be using either a very, very lucky call-in or get an amazing, amazing engagement. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Late game, early tier infantry is not going to stand up to even to fully vetted up early game infantry from the UKF, especially with their combat bonus that they get with the firing rate is doing pretty well already. You see that MG34 gets shredded. And yet another thing goes over to the Brits. Unfortunately, that Sharp Pencil headquarters is just a bit out of range.
A capture point is being overrun.
And that is a little bit of a disappointment for the Germans. Rockets coming out in the meantime, trying to in vain to hit the center part of the field, but not doing a whole lot, and indeed maybe at best decrewing the 6-pounder. But no, those 30 rockets not doing what they need to do. 9 kills overall though, so I guess I can't be too brutal against that captured support weapon. Frost in the meantime is going to have his King Tiger limp forward yet again, throwing rounds as much as possible into his opposing number. And expect some tulip rockets to go off. Yep, there's 2 tulips, which is not going to be 4 lips. I've tried that joke before. It doesn't work. Trust me. So Jagdpanzer coming out instead as a secondary vehicle. That's an interesting decision. I would have gone for an infantry tank with a P4. It sacrifices a little bit of the front armor, but at the same time is way more mobile and versatile, at least in my mind. And the Germans are now draining tickets pretty darn quickly. 176 to 267, 32-10 into this game. And infantry section is going to move forward and to try to take out this fuel point from the Germans. Going to be able to do so, I would say, unless, nope, never mind. They're probably going to get pinned. Or torn to shreds. I mean, geez, those guys are in negative cover right now, so it's not going to be pretty. Volksgrens shifting forwards, and there's the P4. Good idea. So dropping the Jagdpanzer, taking out a P4 instead. A good decision. Germans are going to push to the south while the KT distracts to the north. And this is a good decision as well. So putting some more firepower into the Firefly. If he can compel that to retreat, that'd be a pretty good win. But under fire from 3 to 4 different sources, between the 6-pounder, the Cromwell, and the Firefly, it's probably not a good plan to be too close. And another tulip rocket can be called in. There we go. 1, 2. And the thing is big enough that KT is just never, ever going to get missed. But now the P4 is coming onto the field. The question is, can he come here just quick enough to take on the Sherman Firefly? Sherman Firefly is going to come in and realize, wait a second, there's another target here. That's a problem. And P4 is going to get another round off, I dare say. Oh my gosh, but he bounces around. Oh, this is so unlucky. Main gun destroyed, and the Piats are going to herald the destruction right there. That is super, super unlucky. Land matches as well is going to be able to throw out round yet again. Where is it going though? Firing long one more time. He might do some number over here on these troops. There goes the machine gun at least. So that's a little bit of a small band-aid of sorts. Other one does get away though. And another, no, it's going to be a Comet coming in. So once that comes in, the KT doesn't have a whole lot of a prayer. And Frost has no real counter opportunities here. He's losing all of his territory. He's down 2-1 in cap. And now a Comet's on the field, calling in Obersoldaten that are not going to be able to turn around this fight by themselves. If he had been able to keep that P4 up a little bit longer, whether that was to use it kind of defensively to screen for this KT, or be just super, super lucky about it, he might have had a chance to get back in this, but I don't think he's going to have that anymore. And I believe we're probably going to see a dead Volksgrenadier squad. And he's fairly vetted up as well. So it's getting close. Is he going to get away? Bren Gunn seeking his head. No, not going to happen. So he managed to limp away. And I'm surprised by that. And KT says, you know what, guys? I've had a good enough life. He's going to charge forwards. Not going to be a good plan. And indeed, we could see another tulip rocket pretty darn soon, just not quite yet. Cromwell deciding that life is not worth living. He's going to charge forwards to put pressure onto the KT, and he might even be able to take him out. Oh my gosh, it's a dive from every direction. So a comet's coming through. The guys, it's the Halley's Comet dive of this match. And the KT's not going to be able to survive this. This thing's got a beastly, beastly gun. Rear armor hits. The flak cannons are not going to be enough to take that thing out. And he brews up. So Frost, I believe at this point, is kind of out of luck. I won't say he's up that particular creek, but I would not put it past that particular possibility. He has 2 squads of fully vetted up infantry, or nearly fully vetted up infantry. He's got another squad of moderately okay infantry. He's got Strompios, which are not going to be able to hold up to this kind of attention.
Heavy machine gun crew killed.
Not for any kind of extended period of time here. But it is 85 to 267. He's not going to go in and tap out, because Frost refuses to be that kind of player, which I do respect. And while that land mattress continues to get kills, he got another, what, 9 kills in that one? Pretty darn good.
Reports coming in suggest the enemy
Yeah. He's still left behind the hardened core for the UKF. Every single infantry left on this field is fully vetted up. The mortar pit is fully vetted up. The Firefly is fully vetted up. This Cromwell is not, just barely. He's going to pick up 3 stars of veterancy the next time he fires that cannon. And this Comet's been on the field for barely any time at all, and he's almost to his 1st star of veterancy as it is. So let's think about this for a second as the game kind of wraps itself up. What could Frost have done differently? One could argue he probably could have picked a different doctrine, but of course that's kind of, you know, a after-the-fact decision. Might have been better for him to even maybe perhaps have invested in some indirect fire of his own, plopping it down somewhere and start laying rounds down range. But hey, that's just a theory at this time. It seems he's going to extend out the bleeding time here. He's going to take away 1 point back in the center part of the field, and he's just going to extend his death a little bit longer.
threatening a capture point.
Just speed this up a little bit, because I dare say this one is over. Another Raketwerfer is in the middle part of the field. Another set of rounds goes out from the land mattress, and how many kills is he getting? Nothing. He is getting nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. But at least he prevents the cap from the Tommies for at least another couple of seconds here. 23 kills. There we go. So 30 HE rockets picks up 2 kills. Sheriff Panzer headquarters is going to go down. This is just that last little vindictive attack. Well, well played to Pappy O'Daniel. He was down by quite a bit for a fair portion of time. I think this Cromwell might have been enough to be the one to turn it back around. But you know what? There is no I in team, and that infantry section play was pretty darn good as well, kind of spreading the field away from the Germans. Yeah, we're going to speed this up a little bit more. So, I believe that's going to be the end of it all.
Supply is looking a bit squiffy. Line's been cut.
I would play Yakety Sax, but I don't... What? And this Cromwell comes in and just squashes 4 guys, just like that. And he's going to do it again? No, he's not. Okay. I was going to say, that's a little ridiculous if he can do that twice in a row. More rockets. So yeah, he's not willing to call it quits. He probably should be calling it quits, though. If he had gone a little bit longer, he might have been able to take out these engineer squads. But the Bren guns are going to come in, and that is going to be that, folks. Well done to Pappy O'Daniel. Unlucky to Frost, and probably could have microed out that KT a little bit better. But that's going to be it for us, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a game you want me to check out, please email me at conovergaming@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to get to it super, super quickly. But I'll see you guys all soon. This is Conover signing off. Take it easy.